Brin has tapped this man, Vic Gundotra, to make sure that as the world goes mobile, Google goes with it.
Why is it so important for Google to have a major presence on cell phones?
We are seeing a very fundamental shift where increasingly, particularly among a young demographic and in Asian countries, the primary access to the internet is not through the PC, but through mobile devices.
Google first put its Android software in phones in 2008. Other manufacturers like Motorola, Samsung, and even Dell are now jumping on the Android bandwagon. But it'll still be a struggle for Google Android to challenge the 800-pound gorilla of mobile phones, Apple.
The new iPhone, 3G.
Apple's iPhone, with its vast market of software applications, or apps, has huge momentum in the world of so-called smartphones, which act more like handheld computers and web browsers than simple cell phones.
In some respects, we're past the era of the PC and into the era of extrasensory computing. These mobile phones have eyes, they've got a camera, they've got ears, every one of them has a microphone, they've got skin, you can touch them, and they're increasingly augmenting our own senses.
So far, there are roughly 10,000 apps available for Google Android.
It's called Pocket Auctions for eBay, and it's essentially a miniaturized version of eBay on your Android handset.
10,000 apps sounds pretty impressive until you consider that the Apple iPhone has more than 100,000.
Hi. Hi, what do you got there?
To beef up Google's offerings, Gundotra has to convince software developers and the makers of smartphones that the smart money is on Android.
What are you demoing here?
We're doing Mafia Wars.
He works the crowd with the enthusiasm of an evangelist.
We're counting on folks like you to come up with these great ideas to move the web forward. So what do you guys have here?
Geodelic.
Google needs private developers like these, but it's also developing Android programs on its own, in-house. Hartmut Navin leads a Google team racing to launch an ambitious new technology. They're trying to tie the cameras in smartphones to the immense power of Google's search engine. Its official title is Google Goggles, but at the time, they were calling it Visual Search.
So imagine you're a tourist, you arrive at this place and you would like to know more about it. All you will have to do is you take a shot of the sign, and you see we recognize this as the Santa Monica Pier. Google Visual Search is a new technology that essentially allows you to trigger a search of an image. So the idea is you see something that interests you, you whip out your camera phone, take a picture of the object of interest, and this will trigger a Google search.
Google's competitors would be impressed if they knew about it. When we visited, the Visual Search product was still secret, but Google agreed to pull back the curtain and let CNBC cameras watch the process. It wasn't always pretty.
The usual page came up, but there was no links this time, and I didn't know what to do.
This sounds like a bug in barcode scanner.
So this definitely should be fixed.
Deadlines loom. Colleagues in other Google offices are scheduled to test it the very next day. 24 hours later, a group of Google engineers in New York who had never seen Google Visual Search finally give it a try.
You are at a friend's house, and you see this cool book, and you think, I want to find out what the reviews say about it. Do you think Google Visual Search can help you?
Back in California, they anxiously watch by video link as first-time users test the product. Some reviews are not encouraging.
Like, I think that Google Visual Search would help, but it wouldn't be my first thought.
No price, no product, useless.
So you're feeling less certain that this will get you what you want?
If I had gone to my phone and done a search, I would have got better information.
Okay. Molly? Useful?
No.
Okay. Mike?
I'm going to disagree with everybody. I think this is way more useful than I thought it was going to be. It's not what I expected.
They decide it's just not ready for prime time.
Not yet.
So team members are dispatched to fix any remaining problems.
Come on. No, it didn't get the, yeah. We're still building out our database, so we don't quite have all of the objects in here that we would like to recognize.
The last critical hurdle is an internal product review called dog fooding.
Yeah, so I think that this is a good result, so I'm going to rate it heavily.
Shailesh Nalawadi is a product manager.
Dog fooding really comes from the phrase to eat your own dog food.
which at Google means that every product that we get ready to release to our end users is tested extensively within Google by all of the employees at Google.
Never mind the cute name. Dog fooding means the team's baby will soon be in the hands of 20,000 critics, gleefully trying to tear it apart.
Googlers are very passionate about the products that we put out, and we get a ton of feedback, which we incorporate into the product before finally releasing it out to the hands of the end users.
Google is used to leading the field, but not in mobile phones. Visual search and apps like it are critical if Google is going to challenge Apple and claim more of those tiny screens in billions of hands around the globe. For now, Google is playing catch-up.